Found footage films can often be met with a certain degree of reservation, and rightly so. There was a time in the not so distant past when the subgenre became swamped of mediocrity and oversaturation. It felt like found footage was becoming almost a parody of itself, with so many titles flying off the conveyor belt. It's a difficult subgenre to nail because it's usually just 30 to 40 minutes of fairly nondescript setup to get to that moment of disorientating camera work, really loud noises, and usually a ton of terrifying jump scares. The Outwaters admittedly still follows that pattern a bit, but it definitely spins the formula in its own direction, and the final act is absolutely horrifying. Told from various perspectives as footage discovered on 3 memory cards found in the Mojave Desert, a group of 4 creative friends head deep into the desert to record a music video. This is where creator Robbie Banfitch, who wrote, directed, shot, edited and sound designed, initiates the first non-traditional element of the found footage genre. Unlike most of the victims we see in these films who seek out some sort of haunted house, urban myth or cursed object, these people are legitimately just out here doing their job. For a total of approximately 55 minutes or so, The Outwaters is a relatively boring film that doesn't make any effort to highlight or foreshadow any of the danger the group are about to embark on, at least not in a glaringly obvious way. We really are just following a group of creatives as they prepare and travel to their desert location. I never warmed to the characters either, so this slow setup felt unwarranted to me. The introductions and subsequent day-to-day recordings of the group is a bit banal, and it probably lasted longer than required, but it is the explicit antithesis of what's to come. When the group arrive at their location, they are welcomed by beautiful pinkish night skies and the serene calmness of the desert that helps to create an idyllic reverie for the characters, and then all hell breaks loose. There's an inference here that we might be witnessing something along the lines of a real-life version of The Hills Have Eyes, but what we actually get is something even darker and more monstrous. The remaining 50 minutes can only be described as a pandemonium of auditory and visual cosmic nightmares, and it all happens so suddenly that it's difficult to comprehend to begin with. In fact, the whole experience is a surreal hellscape that is constantly making us question the reality of the images we're seeing. It's not an easy film to follow along with in terms of what the fuck is actually happening. However, the categorical aim of the film itself is to leave the viewer in a state of distress, and it delivers that sensation in spades. The insane third act plays out in almost complete darkness with only a lone flashlight shining some light and occasional sense on what is transpiring. But what really is transpiring? Your guess is as good as mine, but what I do know is that there is a lot of blood. Like lots of blood, and hellish screams and inexplicable sequences that seem to test the boundaries of time and space. Robbie is separated from the group and descends into a rabbit hole of madness. Confusion, then panic, then utter denial, all boiled in the same pot with a hefty amount of manic hysteria, causes Robbie to go around and round and around in circles of insanity. The final couple of scenes in particular are just absolutely wild to watch. If you can stick out the mundane character development of the first half of the film, then you'll be rewarded with a sensory cavalcade of horrific proportions.
Can you hear me? Ma'am?